Hi, my name is Dr. Douillard. I'm going to talk to you today about how our mind and our emotions can actually affect our health from an Ayurvedic perspective. Now, according to Ayurveda, there are these sheaths or koshas that wrap the body, and the most fundamental sheath is our bliss sheath, our anandamaya kosha. Babies are born with this expanded bliss, and they're full of this radiance of the truth of them, the bliss of them. And we can make the case that we are naturally blissful. We know that when our microbes are exposed to love and kindness and joy, they thrive and they expand. The good ones do. And when we're under a lot of stress, the good guys disappear. So we can make the case that 90% of us is thriving in a very blissful environment. And we, as young babies, are just full of bliss. And we realize that things aren't maybe going that well. We get traumatized as we grow up. We realize that, the kids maybe aren't being so nice to us. We're not getting the love and approval from our mom and dad as much as we would like to. So we start to create a little bit of a personality. We taste ice cream. We start to be attracted to our senses. And all of a sudden, the anandamaya kosha, the mental sheath, begins to kick in and say, hey, you know what? That love that I was getting over there was sort of inconsistent in the whole bliss sheath thing. So I'm going to actually see if I can get it from ice cream and approval from mom and dad and more stimulus in my environment and video games and different types of sensory stimuli is where we begin to go to get satisfied. This is the anandamaya kosha. That anandamaya kosha impacts the flow of the prana, the energy sheath, the vitality that supports subtle energy in the body that we know supports the microbiology. In the microbiology, now we know supports the emotions and the mental capacity and pretty much every physiological function in the body. We also know that when you're under a lot of stress, that prana flow impacts the function of the body, the anandamaya kosha, and begins to disturb the function of the body. It breaks down and becomes compromised in terms of its ability to maintain health. So what happens is this bliss sheath gets protected or walled off. They call it the Great Barrier Sheath, where the mind walls off access to the heart. The heart is extremely delicate, and our mind employs, our heart rather, employs our mind to protect us so we stop getting hurt feelings. And as a result of that protection, we create a personality that we project on the screen to get safe and secure. And that could be a straight A student, a perfectionist, a pleaser, a class clown. It can be a variety of things. Based on your personal raw material, you're going to create a personality to get safe and secure. We are hardwired as young children to get approval from mom and dad. That is our safety. If we didn't, care about the approval of mom and dad, we would have wandered into the jungle a long time ago, got eaten by lions, and there'd be no people here. So clearly, we need that approval. We keep ratcheting up that approval through our childhood with creating a personality, and that personality sometimes works, sometimes doesn't work. And next thing you know, we find ourselves spending much of our energy trying to get the approval from our boss, our spouse, wanting other people's behavior to be just the way we want it so we feel safe and secure. We're still driving that same exact program. So we can become the director of this movie. This is what Ayurveda is all about, is bring the body back into balance. Move with Ayurveda and lifestyles in sync with the natural cycles and the right herbs to bring the physical body back into balance. Prana, the pranamaya kosha, yoga, breathing, meditation moves prana, helps the body become more self-aware. The prana can then move into the body and keep the body healthy. The prana can then move into the mind and still the mind, create a heightened level of awareness. And with that heightened level of awareness, you have clarity and therefore choice. Choice to choose the crazy protective pattern you created as a child that definitely delivered safety and security, but is it still working today as an adult? That's the game of life. That's what Ayurveda is really about, is to get you to that place where you go, whoa, wait a minute. Why am I spending so much of my energy trying to get my mom and my dad and my husband or my spouse or my wife or partner to be the way I think they should be, so then therefore I feel safe and secure? What if I just did me and freed myself to let the very delicate petals of my flower open and let me out? Now that would be really risky, because what if they don't like me? What if they judge me? What if they don't approve me? What if they don't love me as much as I could? See, this is what Ayurveda is about. Bring the body into balance, get the prana to move into the body so the body's less dense physically, get the prana to move into the mind so the mind becomes more still, and that gives us clarity. Clarity to choose between the illusion that we created as a child to be safe and secure, which was perfection, by the way. It wasn't good or bad or right or wrong. It was perfect at that time. But as an adult, we can change the game. We can become the director of the movie, change the lines in the script. We can change the entire scene. We have the ability to play the role we were meant to play in this life, as opposed to continue to play the role that we started as a child, and we keep playing versions of the same role in the same movie and doing the same, in many cases, dumb thing again and again and again and again. And all of that impacts, all that stress, all that doing so much energy to get other people's approval, to make other people happy, to keep everybody out there in a way doing what you think they should do, or behave in a way that you hope they'll behave so you feel safe and secure. We're still driving the program of safety and security, as opposed to, and we end up spending a lot of our life doing everybody else behaving based on what we think they will like, and therefore if they like us, we're approved of, we're safe and secure, as opposed to just doing you fully. You love your mother, you love your father, you love your sister, you love your brother, you love your job, you're passionate about things. Be that freely. And the thing that blocks us from that, of course, once we have the self-awareness, the thing that blocks us from that is fear. And they always say that the fear is directly across from the bliss. The reason for fear is to get your attention. So you can go to the pain and fear, through the pain, access who you are, and free yourself and let who you are out. That is an Ayurvedic prescription. So we have to go through the fear. And I use the analogy in the article associated with this video, like Batman. Batman was afraid of bats. Something happened when he was a young kid. He fell into some bat cave hole thing and freaked out about bats and was always afraid of them. So when he grew up and became Batman, he moved into a bat cave and became one with the bats and loved the bats. And so he moved through his fears. So as we become more self-aware with the yoga, the breathing, meditation, Ayurvedic lifestyle, you're going to be able to have the clarity to go, oh, that's my fear. I'm afraid of not getting the approval. I'm afraid of what they might think. I'm afraid I might not get love back in return. So I then put all this energy out to get that return of investment. And when you realize that that's a fear, that you don't get that return, then you have an action step that will free you. And that is the ultimate goal, the action step. The final piece of the puzzle is action. In Ayurveda, they say, established being, become more clear, more self-aware, and then you must perform action. Established being, perform action. That is the Vedic mandate. And if we can use these tools, yoga, breathing, meditation, Ayurveda, as self-awareness tools, that's what they are. It's not complete until we finish the job with action. And that's what the article is about. That's what Ayurveda really truly is about. That's what yoga is really truly about. It's just, even though we think yoga is a great physical fitness tool, it's an awareness tool to give you the clarity of how you're engaging in behavior in the world and how you can do you instead of responding with your behavior based on what you think everybody else would love and like and approve of. So how can we begin to do you and stop doing them is by really understanding the real purpose of Ayurveda and yoga and breathing and meditation. So please, I read this article. It's a very cool article, again, laying this out in a very simple format so we can begin to take action and free ourselves from old protective patterns. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. John Douillard.
This recording is brought to you by LifeSpa, where ancient Ayurvedic wisdom meets modern science. Get access to free health video newsletters by Dr. John at lifespa.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.